Alright, I think Apocalypse has one of the best, if not the best kit in the entire game, and to prove my point, I thought I would show you 5 things that Apocalypse does that only he can do in this game. And this is pretty crazy because he is a 2020 champion, so he's a pretty old gem. And to still be the only champion to do these type of things is just craziness, man. So let's get started here. For starters, Apocalypse is still the only champion that is immune to Disorient. While there are characters like Atuma who reverse the effects of it, he still takes like the block penetration, right? But Apocalypse is just straight up immune to it, and is still the only champion that is immune to it, right? And this is great because it is such a valuable piece of utility, and it still only belongs to Apocalypse. Now, by default, this means that Apocalypse is the only champion in the game with this immunity set, which is Disorient, Bleed, Incinerate, and Stun, which is a great set of like immunities, right? Because, you know, all of these debuffs are pretty prominent, and some of them are very, very annoying as well. Especially Disorient and especially Stun, right? But being immune to them is just fantastic. And you can see here we have this Caltrops lane, and he is just not caring whatsoever, right? And then here we have the Freezer Burn lane, which is, you know, Incinerate filled, but we are immune to it eventually. And also, while there are champions like Taskmaster who gains immunity to debuffs like in a fight, Apocalypse is the only champion that gets like immunity over time that lasts for the entire quest. Now this one's a bit more fun. Apocalypse is actually the only champion in the game that is both extra large and mutant, which is pretty cool because I love extra large characters. They're my favorite characters to play, and having Apocalypse as the only one is pretty dang sweet because, you know, it makes him a lot more special, right? So yeah, Apocalypse, the only extra large mutant character, which is pretty cool. Now this one is insanely surprising. Apocalypse is still the only champion in this game that at base counters Purify by reducing the ability accuracy of it, right? There are some synergies to make some characters do it, but Apocalypse is still the only champion that does it at base, which is really crazy because I feel like this would be a pretty common ability, right? But no, only Apocalypse has it still, and I guess it makes sense because he is the true first one, right? Still though, just really, really surprising to me at least. I want you to check out this ability after I throw the SPT right here, which by the way, pretty nice damage output here. We're just getting started though, but check this out. I go in, I hit his block, and he gets stunned. And Apocalypse is still the only champion in this game to be able to do this. While there are champions like Adam Warlock who does break your block by hitting it, only Apocalypse stuns through the block, right? And I know that this is mainly for defense, but it's also very strong on attack as well because it lets you get your openings pretty easily. Now, Apocalypse does a lot of other things as well, but they're shared with like 1 or 2 champions. For example, only him and Odin have like mechanics to where if you miss out on a fight, you get benefits for the fight afterwards, right? For Apocalypse, it's regeneration. For Odin, it's the Odin sleep ability, right? And Apocalypse and very few amount of characters also benefit from having a certain class type on your team. The only other champion that comes to mind is Captain America Infinity War, and there might be some others, but I think it's just those 2 that like I can think of right now. And there's other stuff as well, like for example, Apocalypse is one of the only characters that can enhance other champions with a pre-fight ability. For example, Odin and his pre-fights do that as well. Galen and his pre-fight do that. There's also War Machine and White Magneto. Like, there's still very few characters that do it, right? And this just goes to show how unique and just powerful this guy's kit is, because Apocalypse does a lot of things that only he does, right? But also does a lot of things that very few characters do, while also having some pretty general utility as well. So this man really just has it all, and that's why I feel like he's such a strong champion, right? But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Apocalypse. I feel like he is still probably one of the best mutants out there. Definitely the best questing mutant for sure because of like all of his just crazy good utility, right? And yeah, that's about it for me.